Hi everyone, welcome to Development of the Special Needs Child. This is cohort 22 and the first quad of summer 20. I want to welcome you to class. Thank you so much for being interested in child development as a career, and I can guarantee you that regardless of how you feel about this class or working with individuals with disabilities, by the end of these 7 weeks you will have a greater understanding and awareness of the needs of all children with varying disabilities and how to approach them not only in the classroom setting but in the child care setting, and then also just in the general public. Prior to COVID-19, of course, there was a lot more socialization taking place. People were doing a lot more traveling. There was a greater possibility of even interacting with more people, obviously. And so now we're in this new phase, or we're in this transition, I should say. I don't want to necessarily call it a phase, because then that may mean that this is where we'll rest. And this is not where I want the world to rest, if anyone is asking or concerned about that. But while we are going through this transition, there may be a decreased opportunity for you to interact with people with varying disabilities. However, the information is still just as important and is essential to know, because once we get into the next phase after this transition, here we go, you'll be able to use this knowledge across the board. I really want everyone to work on a toolkit, and not necessarily with a hammer and a nail and a screwdriver and a wrench, but your toolkit is strategies. These are strategies that you pull out of your back pocket, out of your front pocket, out of your purse, out of whatever, your satchel. And these are the strategies that you use in real time when situations change. Sometimes, you may have a student with multiple disabilities, and so you may have designed a project or assignment that can definitely help his or her ADHD, as far as in diminishing some of the characteristics of ADHD and how it's affecting the particular lesson. But say, for instance, the student also has anxiety right now, which is very much a disorder that you're bound to interact with right now, or maybe experiencing on your own. And so if a student starts having or exhibiting some of the characteristics of an anxiety attack, or maybe they're just, ruminating over one particular thought and they can't seem to get unstuck because they're focused on just this one thing, this is when your toolkit comes into play, and you simply whip out a strategy that you've already used or you've heard of that has proven to be effective, and then you just start basically implementing different strategies until you find something that works, that helps to decrease the student's behavior and get them back on track. If I haven't said it, my name is Nicole Hope Moore. I'm the Director of Disability and Tutorial Services at Point Loma University, and very excited to teach this class. I have a son on the autism spectrum, and he's 22. Actually, he'll be 22 in July. And he's my only child, but I also have a dog named Bailey, a bird that you may be able to hear right now in the back. He only decides he likes to chirp when I'm on Zoom calls or recording. He has a sixth sense. His full name is Drew Breeze, but because I'm from New Orleans and a Saints fan, if you can see the fleur-de-lis in the back, and I also have a tortoise that I got this past summer. And his name is Major Poe Tater Tot. I call him Tater for short. His terrarium, I guess you would call it, is behind me. But right now he is sunbathing on the balcony with some romaine lettuce. And I have a variety of fish tanks. And yeah. Let's see. Married, one husband, which is typical. And he works at NASCO over on 32nd Street. So I want to jump straight into just an overview of the course, and then the next video that we'll post will be the actual chapter 1, and then followed by chapter 2 in a separate video. I will do my best to keep my recordings, these videos, between 5 and 7 minutes, if not longer, simply because I want to make sure I can hold your attention. So let's go straight into it. So as I said, this is Child Development 3055, And let's see, I had my notifications pop up there for no reason. We will meet on a volunteer basis because it's just my office hours on Thursday evenings from 6:30 to 8 p.m. I put it at 6:30 instead of 6, which is the time that we would be meeting face to face, because just in case you're coming in from work, you're trying to get kids settled, you're trying to get yourself settled, it gives you a little bit of wiggle room. I am open to pushing it to 7 to 8:30 if that's a better time frame. But at the office hours is an opportunity for us to come together. I'll answer any questions that you have that are not posted in the mini lecture in the slideshow that's already the slide deck that is already posted. And the reason for that is it isn't for me to teach it again. It's necessary for me to do that so I can answer any questions that you may have, especially about the assignments. There are quite a few assignments in this class, and they're all pertinent for not only your development and understanding of special needs, children with special needs, but also if you choose to follow the track that I'm going to share with you, you should be able to effectively and successfully complete your parent family resource manual in small chunks. And so every week in my mini lectures, I will be sharing different resources that you can find immediately online for your chosen topic for your resource manual, as well as in just sharing different links and where you can receive or get more information for some of the assignments that are in the coming week. So I can't make it mandatory that you watch them, but they'll definitely have information that's going to help you move through this course effectively. It will be a Google Meet link versus Zoom. Zoom doesn't allow us right now to do real-time captioning. And as a person who is always pro accessibility, and when I say accessibility, I mean in the sense of students with disabilities being able to access the information without any barriers. Closed captioning is one of those features that is definitely helpful, and not just for individuals with hearing impairments, but for everyone. So I'm going to be using Google Meet. I will post the link via Pronto on Thursdays right at 6:30. So you'll be able to jump in just in case, I don't know, anything pops up and you're like, oh, I wasn't there at 6:30. Where is it? Just go check out Pronto. Please turn on your video and audio when we're in Google Meet. I definitely feel like since we're not doing obviously face-to-face and we're not doing a synchronous class meeting every week, I feel like the video and audio is a good way for us to connect and for me to learn your faces. Attendance will be taken every week. Check out the syllabus to get more information of that. I will be looking in Canvas to see how many times you're actually logging in and participating, and then appointing points accordingly. If you're unable to attend and you haven't communicated with myself or Daphne, I do have to share that information with Daphne Wadley. She is our wonderful program director, and then she'll be following up with you accordingly. Due dates in this class are Wednesdays and Sundays, so that does mean there will be times where there are multiple assignments due on Wednesday, multiple assignments due on Sunday. Please plan accordingly. I am going to share in a few slides how you can go about addressing that. I do academic coaching during the regular school year for students, and we do it through our grad interns, and it's just really helpful. So planners, sticky notes, whatever it is that works. Canvas has a built-in planner for you, but in some cases it might be necessary to look at everything in small chunks and start working on things in small chunks so it doesn't feel overwhelming. Let's see, groups are already assigned. Please go to the people section in Canvas and then click on project groups. And there's a little, like a little sideways triangle. And so if you click it, it'll turn down and then it'll drop down for the entire group. The first person who is there who has the little avatar of a little person or the bust of a person is the group leader and responsible for making sure everything is submitted on time. Let's see, next slide. How does Nicole go to the next slide? Oh, wonderful Zoom. Here we go, sorry. Course expectations. Please try to make sure you're posting everything on time. There is a 10% reduction per day. Let's see. if you do have to submit something late, please let me know before the due date so that we can work on a different deadline for you. Discussion posts, please make them at least 100 words at a minimum and include one citation. It does need to be in APA formatting. And I will share in, let's see, I may have to turn on the announcements and actually share an example of a citation, just in case you just need a reminder of what that looks like in APA. When your peer responses, please make sure they're a minimum of 50 words. We want to make sure we're enriching the conversation and discussion and not just, you know, giving everyone pats on the back. Assignment submissions need to be in Doc or DocX. DocX is the editor version of a Word file and tends to be more compliant. Depends on what you're using, but PDFs are great if you want to maintain the format. PowerPoints are also great as well. Let's see. Links or attachments will be accepted or open, and this is for when you are submitting discussion posts. So please don't, you know, type your response out to a discussion post in Word and then upload it, because then we all have to download it, and we're not saying anyone has viruses on their computer, but that's one way they can be shared. So it's best to do everything immediately in Canvas and make sure it's readily accessible. One thing I meant to also add is on this slide is that it's important for you to be using Google Chrome. Any other browser may affect the way that the information is delivered. Use APA in all your posts. Everyone is aware of APA. You've used it before. Please use it. I am an APA stickler simply because it is a technique that everyone looks at and you will continue to use throughout this entire program, as well as if you choose to go on to a grad program. I shared here ways to lose points, but it's pretty obvious, right? If you don't do the things that are stated, then there's a possibility of losing points, things of that nature. One of my big things is making sure that every group member is pulling their weight. And so if things come up, because life happens and we are in the middle of a pandemic and you just can't keep up with, you know, the group assignments or your own assignments, please let me know immediately via email so that we can work on different ways for you to approach your work and then make sure you stay current. Tips for success. Like I said, it's good to use a planner. I use one. I use my iCal on my phone as well as in Google Calendars for work. I also have a written planner. I was going to show it to you. Let's see where it is. And basically it breaks down the whole week and allows me, it's basically called a week at a glance, and it's been very helpful because I like to see things. I'm a very visual person, so that helps. It is what I think it would also be a good idea if you go ahead and write down everything else that's going on in your world, whether it be medical appointments. Plenty of people are doing telehealth, even putting in sleeping and eating. I'm a person that loves to nap. Can't nap during the weekday, but I do get my nap in between about 5 and 5:30, maybe 5:45, and it's just a power nap, but it is factored into my day just because it helps me kind of hit a refresh. If you're a person who's a go-getter and you want to get it all done, you may want to factor in eating just to make sure that that happens. Please make sure you're completing all of your readings before the class, before the day of class, and in this case, before the quiz, because the quizzes are new to this course. I'll be completely honest with you. And they are due on the Wednesdays. And they are due every Wednesday, I should say. And then, of course, we get together during my office hours on Thursday to discuss even more. Go ahead and start looking at the scheduling of your out-of-class assignments. That includes the interviews. You have to do an interview with someone with a disability and an interview with someone who is the parent of someone with a disability. Go ahead and start looking at the parent meetings. We're going to be doing that electronically via YouTube or Professor Wadley, I should say Daphne Wadley. She's also a professor. There's other ways you can go about meeting that need. And then please incorporate my feedback from your written assignments into future assignments. So you can do that by clicking on grades and then on the assignment, then clicking on view feedback, and then you'll see my information there. I will give you only constructive feedback, so it's important that you incorporate it because it'll help improve your academic writing. So that's the course in overview. It went a lot longer than I expected, but the next one will be a lot shorter, and I will see you soon.